Hello everyone, today I would like to talk about the topic of lateral thinking and why it is important in our daily lives. In today's world, everyone is changing very quickly. Technology is improving, businesses are becoming more competitive, and people are facing new challenges every day. Because of this, simply following old methods or traditional ways of thinking is sometimes not enough. We need new ideas, creativity, and different ways to solve problems. This is why lateral thinking has become very important. Lateral thinking is a way of thinking that encourages people to look at problems from different perspectives. Instead of using only logical and step-by-step methods, lateral thinking focuses on creativity and imagination. It helps people think outside the box and explore new possibilities. For example, when most people face a problem, they usually try to solve it using familiar methods. However, lateral thinking encourages us to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and search for unusual solutions. Sometimes the best answer comes from looking at the problem in a completely different way. One reason why lateral thinking is important is because it improves creativity. Creativity is needed in many areas such as business, education, science, and technology. Companies today are always looking for new ideas to attract customers and improve their products. Students also need creativity to complete projects and solve a thematic problem. Without creative thinking, progress and innovation would be much slower. Besides that, lateral thinking helps people become more flexible. Life is unpredictable, and problems do not always have simple answers. When people think laterally, they are more open to change and better able to adapt to difficult situations. Instead of giving up easily, they try different methods until they find a solution. Another advantage of lateral thinking is that it can improve teamwork and communication. When people share different ideas and perspectives, they can learn from each other and discover better solutions together. In many workplaces, teamwork is very important, and employees who can think creatively and often highly valued. On the other hand, traditional thinking, also known as vertical thinking, focuses mainly on logic, structure, and careful analysis. This type of thinking is useful when accurate and clear products are needed. However, relying only traditional thinking can sometimes limit creativity because people may become too dependent on familiar methods. In conclusion, lateral thinking is an important skill in the modern world. It encourages creativity, flexibility, and innovation. It also helps people deal with challenges more confidently and discover new solutions to complex problems. As the world continues to change, learning how to think creatively will become even more valuable in the future.
Good morning, everyone. Today our group will present about the lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is a creative way to solving problems by looking at the situation from different and unconventional perspectives instead of following only logic and step-by-step thinking. Lateral thinking encourages people to challenge assumption, and explore new ideas. In today's fast-changing world, this skill is very important because many modern problems cannot be solved using the traditional method alone. Lateral thinking helps improve creativity, flexibility, and innovation in areas such as business, education, and technology. One important principle of lateral thinking is using different perspectives instead of focusing on the one solution. People try to see problems from multiple viewpoints. Another principle is breaking conventional thinking patterns. Many people rely too much on familiar methods, which can limit creativity. Lateral thinking also involves connecting unrelated ideas. For example, food delivery apps combine a mobile technology with a restaurant service to create a completely new business model. In addition, people must be open to unusual ideas because creativity solutions often begin with ideas that seem unrealistic at first. There are several techniques using lateral thinking. The first one is brainstorming, where people generate many ideas without judging them. Another technology is random simulation, which use random words or images to inspire new thinking. Challenging assumption is also important because many problems exist simply because people never question existing beliefs. Besides that, mind map helps organize ideas visually and discover connection between them. Lastly, Edward Bono's thinking his technical encourages people to think from different perspectives such as logic, emotional, and creative thinking. The process of the lateral thinking usually involves 5 steps. First, identify the problem. Second, challenge assumption. Third, generate new ideas. Fourth, evaluate and select the best ideas. Finally, apply the solutions in real situation. For example, if a company has low customer engagement, instead of only improving advertisement, lateral thinking may ask customers to create content themselves. This can lead to more creativity and marketing strategies. In conclusion, lateral thinking is an important skill that encourages creativity, innovation, and better problem solving. Although there are challenges in applying it, combining lateral thinking with the traditional thinking can help individuals and organizations adapt more effectively to the modern challenges. Thank you.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about 4 key techniques of lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is a creative way of solving problems by looking at situations from new and unusual perspectives. This helps us move away from the fixed thinking patterns and discover solutions that may not appear through the traditional logical thinking. The 4 techniques I will introduce are brainstorming, random stimulation, challenging assumptions, and 6 thinking hats. The first technique is brainstorming. Brainstorming is a method where people generate as many ideas as possible without judging them at the beginning. The focus on the quantity first. Focus on the quantity, not the quality. That is important because people often reject their own idea too early. They may think that an idea sounds strange, unrealistic, or not good enough, so they do not share it. However, in lateral thinking, even an unusual idea can become useful later. For example, a team may list all possible ideas to improve a product before selecting the most effective one. Some ideas may not work directly, but they can inspire better ideas. Therefore, brainstorming helps people thinking freely and encourages creativity in a group. The second technique is random stimulation. The random stimulation means using random words, images, or objects to trigger new ways of thinking. This technique helps people escape from the fixed patterns and make unexpected connections. For example, if a designer is trying to create new product features and receives the random word ocean, this word may inspire ideas such as smooth design, blue colors, water resistance, or calming user experience. At first, the word may seem unrelated to a problem, but it can open a new direction of thinking. This is why random stimulation is useful. It pushes our mind to connect ideas that we normally would not connect. The third technique is challenging assumptions. Many problems are difficult to solve because people accept a certain idea without questioning them. We often assume that something must be done in a certain way because it has always been done in that way. However, lateral thinking asks the question, those assumptions. For example, a business may assume that the low price is always the most important factor for customers. But if the business challenges this assumption, it may realize that customers also care about the quantity, convenience, trust, and overall experience. By questioning that we believe that is true, we can discover new and better solutions. This technique is especially useful because it helps us break away from the limits that may exist only in our minds. The fourth technique is seeking hands. This technique has developed by Edward de Bono. This encouraged people to look at a problem from the different perspectives. Each hand presents a different ways of thinking, such as facts, emotions, risks, benefits, creativity, and control of thinking process. In a group discussion, this technique is very useful because it prevents people from focusing on only one side of a question. For example, one person may focus on logical facts, and another may consider possible risks, while another may suggest creative possibilities by using different hands. A team can analyze a problem more completely and make better decisions. Overall, these four techniques shows that lateral thinking is not only about creative. It also provides the technical method to help people thinking differently. Brainstorming helps us generate many ideas. Random stimulation helps us create unexpected connections. Challenging assumptions make us question Felix's benefits. The six thinking hands help us examine the problem from different angles.
Today, I would like to talk about the process of using lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is a creative way of thinking. It helps people look at a problem from different angles instead of using only common idea. This methods can help us find a new and better solution in daily life, study, and work. There are four main parties in the process of lateral thinking. First, identify the problem before solving a problem. We must understand the real problem clearly. Sometimes people try to solve a problem too quickly without thinking carefully. Because of this, they may solve the wrong problem.
lateral thinking teaches us to slow down and look deeper. We should ask a question like, what is really happening? Why did this problem happen? This stop is important because a clear problem leads to a better solution. Second, challenge assumptions. Many people believe that all the ideas are always correct. We often follow the some hobbies and ways of thinking. However, lateral thinking encourages us to question these assumptions. We try to think differently and not limit ourselves. For example, maybe there is another easier or smarter way to do something. By challenging assumption, we can discover new possibilities and believe become more creative. Second, energy and evaluate ideas in this step. We think of many different ideas and solutions. At first, we should not worry if the ideas should strong our unusually creative thinking is important in this stage. After counting my ideas, we evaluate them carefully. We choose ideas that are practical, useful, and realistic. This helps us find the best solution for the problem. Finally, apply the solution after choosing the best idea. We put it into action in real life. Sometimes the solution works well, but sometimes it may not be perfect. If there are problems, we can improve the idea and try again. Later thinking is a flexible process, so learning from mistakes is also important. Inclusion, lateral thinking help people become more creative, open-minded, and better at solving problems. It always used to see things in new ways and find solutions that we may not notice before. This skill is very useful in school, work, and everyday life. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thanks for being here today. I want to talk about a superpower that we all have, but we sometimes forget to use. That superpower is a logical thinking. When we hear the word logical, many of us think that boring textbooks, different math problems, or exam we want to finish quickly. But that is not the whole story. Logical thinking is actually a highly practical skill. It is a tool we use every single day to survive and succeed in the real world. Let us explore how we apply this thinking in three major areas: our studies and technology, our career, and our daily lives. First, let's look at the academic world and the modern technology. When you are in a classroom listening to a debate or reading a very long essay, how do you know who is right? Logical thinking is the actual tool that helps you separate real facts from empty words. It helps you see if a classmate's argument actually makes sense. But the power of logic goes far beyond the classroom. It is the core backbone of all modern technology. Thinking about your smartphone, your favorite websites, or the computer games you play. All of these are built on computer programming and design. Coding is basically giving a computer a very strict set of logical steps to follow. Without structured logical thinking, our complex software systems would crash, and the digital world we rely on would simply stop working. Second, logical thinking naturally carries over into the professional world, especially in business and management. Imagine you are a manager of a large company. You have to make decisions that affect hundreds of employees and a lot of money. You cannot make sense choice just by guessing or following a sudden feeling. If you rely on blind guess, your business would probably fail. Instead, successful managers rely heavily on logic, then take the time to deeply analyze real market data. They look at a customer's numbers, sales reports, and make trends. By connecting the dots logically, then can make smart, strategic decisions. Logical turns a risky guess into a safe, well-planned strategy. It ensures that a company grows steadily and safely. Finally, and the most importantly, let us talk about your everyday life. We live in a fast-paced world full of social media, quick judgment, and emotional reactions every day. We bombarded with the crazy viral news stories, flashy advertisement, and shocking video. This is where logical acts as your ultimate defense materializes. It is your shield against misinformation and fake news. Fake news is designed to make you feel angry, scared, or excited, so you quickly share it. Thinking logically helps us slow down our minds. It enables you to pause, to take a deep breath, and rationally assess what you are reading. You can ask yourself, is this a reliable source? Where is the solid evidence? Immediately applying this kind of reflective thinking ensures you do not blindly believe lies. It helps you make major life choices based on facts, not just emotions. In conclusion, logical thinking is much more than an academic subject. It is the foundation of our technology, the secret behind success business, and the ultimate filter for the truth in our daily lives. By practicing logic, we protect ourselves and make better choices every single day. It helps us study better, work smarter, and live safer. Thank you so much for your time and attending today.
And then I would like to talk about the challenges and obstacles in implementing lateral thinking. Although lateral thinking is very useful for solving problems creatively, it is not always easy to apply in real life. There are several common challenges that can limit its effectiveness. The first challenge is difficulty in changing conventional mindset. Most people are used to think in structural and traditional ways because of their education and work experience. They prefer step-by-step methods that they are already familiar with. Because of this, it can be difficult for them to look at problems from new or different perspectives. For example, some employees may continue using the same problem-solving methods they have always used, even when those methods are no longer effective. This limits creative and prevents innovation. The second challenge is the lack of willingness to accept new ideas. Many people feel uncomfortable with ideas that seem unusual or different. They may think these ideas are too risky, unrealistic, or impractical. As a result, creative suggestions are often rejected too quickly without appropriate discussion. For example, during a group discussion, a creative idea might be ignored simply because it sounds strange at first. However, if the idea is explored further, it can actually lead to a useful solution. Therefore, being open-minded is very important in lateral thinking. The third challenge is the need for time and training. Lateral thinking is not a skill that develops instantly. It requires patience, practice, and guidance. However, in busy environments, many people focus only on getting quick results instead of spending time exploring creative ideas. For example, workers facing tight deadlines may choose the fast solution rather than thinking creatively to find a better one. Without enough time and training, it's become harder to develop lateral thinking skills efficiently. In conclusion, lateral thinking is very important in helping people solve problems in different and creative ways. It encourages people to look at problems from different perspectives, challenge normal ideas, and explore new solutions. Because of this, lateral thinking is useful in many fields such as business, education, technology, and even daily life. The technique of lateral thinking can also help people improve their creativity, communication, and decision-making skills. However, lateral thinking is not always easy to use. Many people are too comfortable with traditional ways of thinking and may not accept the new idea easily. Sometimes creative ideas are rejected because they seem strange or risky at first. Besides that, developing lateral thinking takes time, practice, and patience. In busy situations, people often focus on quick answers instead of spending time thinking creatively. Without proper training and support, it can be difficult for people to fully develop this skill. Even though there are challenges, lateral thinking still gives many benefits. It helps people become more flexible, open-minded, and confident when facing problems. It also encourages teamwork because people can share different ideas and learn from each other. In today's modern world, problems are becoming more complex, so creative thinking is becoming more important than before. Overall, combine lateral thinking with traditional thinking can help people make better decisions and solve problems more efficiently. As the world continues to change, creative thinking and the ability to adapt will become more important for both individuals and organizations in the future. Therefore, people should continue practice lateral thinking so they can become more creative and successful in their study, work, and daily life. Thank you.